The stars were calm, planets moved slowly. Light from a distant sun touched the halls of the Galactic Council. This was the heart of power in the galaxy, where decisions were made that shaped entire worlds. Inside, a meeting was happening. 100 different alien species sat in silence. All eyes were on the center platform, where the High Speaker of the Council stood tall, his silver skin glowing under the lights. He spoke in a deep, echoing voice. The matter of Earth must now be decided. A screen behind him showed a spinning blue planet, Earth. For hundreds of years, the Council had watched Earth from afar. They studied humans like they were animals in a cage. They laughed at their wars, their emotions, and their strange way of living. One long-necked alien with orange skin stood up. His voice was sharp. They are too dangerous. They fight each other all the time. They build weapons faster than any species we've seen. They should not be allowed into space. Another council member, soft and glowing like jelly, floated forward. But they are creative, it said. They paint. They sing. They dream. Maybe they can change. Whispers filled the room. Some aliens feared humans. Others were curious. Finally, the High Speaker raised his hand. We will send a scout, he said. One of our own will go to Earth. Watch them. Understand them. Then we will decide. His name was Zelter. He was chosen because he was silent, smart, and quick. His eyes could see far, and his ship was small and fast, perfect for quiet missions. Zelter entered Earth's orbit without a sound. He flew over cities, deserts, oceans, and war zones. He listened. He watched. He sent his first report after one Earth day. These beings are strange, he said in his message. They smile even when they are hurt. They risk their lives for others. They kill without mercy. And yet, they cry when one of their own dies. He flew lower, closer to the ground. He watched soldiers in a war zone. 2 armies fought in the dirt, shouting in different languages. Blood was everywhere. And yet, even in the middle of battle, a human ran into enemy fire to pull out a wounded friend. Zelter was confused. They value life, but they also destroy it. I do not understand. He moved to a city. It was quiet now, peaceful. Children laughed in a park. Old people fed birds. But nearby, in a museum, Zelter saw weapons from past wars. Guns, bombs, machines built to destroy entire cities. They remember their pain, he whispered. They even honor it. Is that strength? Or madness? Every day Zelter watched more. He saw humans helping strangers. He saw protests. He saw tears. During funerals and cheers during celebrations, they felt everything deeply. Joy, sadness, anger, fear. No other species he knew had such wide emotions. Then one night, something strange happened. He picked up a message. It was short, simple. They're coming. He didn't know who sent it, or who they were, but the signal was strong. It came from deep space. It wasn't human. Zelter followed the signal to a hidden base on Earth. It wasn't built by humans. It was old, alien. Maybe from a forgotten war. But inside, he found something worse. Human weapons had been stored there, modified, upgraded. Someone was helping the humans. This is against council law, Zelter said. No one was supposed to give them technology. He turned on his ship's camera, started recording everything. He had to report this. He needed to tell the council. But then he heard footsteps. Humans. Soldiers in black armor entered the base. They didn't look surprised to see him. One of them pointed. That's him, the Watcher. Before Zelter could fly away, they fired something. Not a gun, not a laser. A strange pulse of energy hit his ship. His last message was short. They're not what we thought. Then silence. Back at the council, the high speaker replayed the final message again and again. The room was quiet, Zelter was gone, and Earth was no longer just being watched. Something had changed. Humans were now watching them. The first mistake in a distant corner of the galaxy, on a dark red planet called Jural 5, the leaders of the Zarktil Empire watched Earth's news on a floating hologram. The Zarktil were proud warriors. Their skin was rough like stone, their arms thick like tree trunks, and their teeth sharp like knives. To them, Earth was small, weak, laughable. One of them, Commander Vrock, growled with a deep voice. The Council fears these humans. Look at them. They fight with fire and metal like animals. Another Zarktil laughed. We crushed 10 worlds last cycle. Earth will fall in 10 days. They didn't ask the Council for permission. They didn't care. The Zarktil wanted to teach humans a lesson and show the galaxy who truly ruled. That was their first mistake. Within a week, a small Zarktil fleet appeared in Earth's orbit. 5 warships, dozens of dropships, hundreds of soldiers. They sent a message to Earth's leaders. Surrender now. You are nothing. We will take your planet. You are not warriors. You are prey. But Earth did not surrender. Instead, Earth went quiet. The internet slowed. Satellites changed position. Cities turned off lights. There was no panic, only silence. Then, Earth replied with one message. We do not bow. We do not break. Come if you dare. Commander Vrock smiled. He thought this would be fun. He sent 3 dropships toward a military base in Eastern Europe. The ships landed hard. The Zarktil soldiers stepped out, ready for blood. They found nothing. No soldiers, no tanks, only fog, cold air, empty buildings. Then, the first trap was triggered. A loud boom shook the ground. A Zarktil squad was gone in seconds, blown apart by a hidden mine. Then snipers started firing. One by one, Zarktil soldiers fell. They couldn't see the enemy. They couldn't find the source. Humans fought like ghosts. They didn't attack head-on. They hit from the shadows, set traps, moved in silence. Zarktil soldiers, trained for open war, began to panic. One screamed, "Where are they? Why don't they face us?" Then, a voice crackled through their stolen radio. Welcome to Earth. Above Earth on the Zarktil command ship, Commander Vrock watched the feed with a confused snarl. How are they winning, these apes? A younger officer stepped forward. Commander, permission to retreat? We have lost 30% of ground forces. Vrock roared, slamming his fist into the wall. Retreat? From them? No. Send more dropships. Bring the crushers. Burn their forests. Scare them. But fear was not on Earth's side. It was spreading among the Zarktil and another part of the battlefield. A Zarktil squad captured 3 human soldiers. 2 were wounded. 1 was a medic. They dragged them into a field tent. What should we do with them? One Zarktil asked. Commander Renek, a veteran warrior, stepped forward. Let's make an example. He raised his blade, but before he could strike, one of the humans, bleeding but smiling, said calmly, "You should let us go." Renek laughed. Why? You think your people will save you? The human smiled wider. No, I think we're not. The prisoners here. Just then, an explosion shook the tent. Smoke poured in. Screams echoed outside. A small team of humans, wearing night gear, moved in fast and silent. One Zarktil tried to fight but was shot in the leg. Another was stabbed. Before he could blink, in just 2 minutes, the camp was taken. The human prisoners stood up, grabbed weapons, and helped carry their wounded away. One Zarktil, badly hurt, stared in disbelief. They saved their own. In the middle of a war zone. Back on the ship, Commander Vrock watched the replay of the rescue. He had never seen a species risk so much for so little. "They're insane," he whispered. The worst news came 2 days later. One of the Zarktil ships disabled by a human missile had been captured. Not destroyed, captured. Inside were weapons, tech systems, energy cores. In just 4 days, humans had started taking it apart, studying it. Learning. They didn't fear alien tech. They didn't run from it. They wanted to use it. One Zarktil officer, shaking, handed Vrock the report. "They've already built a working copy of our plasma cannon using Earth metals." "Sir, they learn fast." Vrock stared at the data. "This is impossible. No species adapts this quickly. He turned to the screen. Earth's military channels were now silent again. But in the black sky above, new signals were forming. And then, a new message arrived, one not from humans, but from another alien. "Race." It read, "To the Zarktil, you've woken something dangerous. We warned the Council. You should have listened." Commander Vrock finally gave the order, "Retreat, now." But it was too late. Human ships, small, fast, and newly armed with alien weapons, were already rising through the clouds. They were not ready to rule the galaxy, but they were ready to fight for it. Most species fear pain, most run from death, but humans. Humans run toward it, with a smile. The galaxy had seen war before, planets destroyed, civilizations wiped out, but never like this. This war was different, because humans had entered space, and they didn't follow the rules. Above a quiet moon near Sector 5, a massive alien fleet floated like a shadow in the stars. These were the ships of the Varn Dominion, one of the oldest and most powerful empires in the galaxy. They had created a blockade around Earth. No ships in, no ships out. They wanted to trap the humans, to show control. Admiral Krethel, a tall insectoid alien with 4 arms and glowing red eyes, stood in his command bridge. "We will wait," he said. "They are not ready for space. They will beg to surrender." But Krethel didn't understand Earth. He didn't understand humans. On Earth, leaders weren't planning a surrender. They were building ships. Big ones. Fast ones. Ugly by alien standards, but powerful. Made from scrap, stolen alien tech, and human creativity. They didn't care about beauty. They cared about firepower. The first Earth fleet launched one cold morning. 7 warships, dozens of fighters. Pilots trained in simulators. Soldiers who had never left the planet. As they rose past the clouds, the stars opened before them. And behind them, the entire planet watched. Every nation. Every screen. They weren't just fighting for Earth now. They were fighting to show the galaxy who they really were. The first clash happened near Saturn's orbit. The Varn fleet spotted the humans and laughed. "Primitive," one Varn officer said. "They're sending junk into space." The humans didn't respond. They just charged. The alien ships opened fire first. Plasma beams shot across space. The human ships were hit, but they didn't stop. They swerved. They dodged. Some were destroyed, but others got too close, closer than any sane species would. Then they did something no one expected. They boarded the Varn ships. In the history of space war, boarding enemy ships was rare, too dangerous, too risky. But not for humans. Teams of Earth soldiers blasted into the alien vessels with magnetic boots, gas masks, and makeshift weapons. The Varn weren't ready. Humans fought in tight corridors. They used knives, fire, fists. They fought with rage, with purpose, with emotion, and when one of them fell, the others didn't retreat. They got angrier. A Varn captain screamed into the command channel. "They're not following any battle pattern. They're just attacking. We can't predict them." Another replied, panicked. One of them laughed when he was shot, he laughed. In the Galactic Council chamber, news of the battle arrived quickly. The alien representatives watched live feeds from scout drones. They saw humans breaking enemy lines, risking their own lives to save teammates, smiling during combat. The council was silent until one voice spoke. It was Hurl then, a peaceful race known for diplomacy. She floated gently, her soft glowing form pulsing with fear. "This must stop," she said. "We have made a mistake. These humans, they are not like us." Another alien, gray and old, nodded. "They fight like beasts. But with the minds of tacticians, this is not war. This is something worse." But the council was too late, because back near the blockade, something unbelievable was happening. The human fleet, battered and bleeding, was winning. They had learned the alien systems. They had hacked a Varn command ship. They had turned one of the enemy's own cruisers against the fleet. And then, in a brilliant move, Earth's Admiral Reyes ordered something bold. "We're not going around the blockade," she said. "We're going through it." The plan was simple and insane. Ram the center. Break the spine. Use the wreckage as cover. And they did it. 3 ships took heavy hits. One exploded, but they punched a hole in the center of the alien line. Varn ships scattered, unsure what to do. For the first time, the mighty fleet of the Varn Dominion broke formation. They retreated. Earth forces flew past them, fast, focused, unstoppable. They didn't pause to celebrate. They didn't even slow down. They were heading for something bigger. On the council screen, one line of data blinked. "Blockade broken." In record time, a whisper spread through the chamber. "They've entered open space. Earth is free." No species had ever escaped a full blockade that fast. Not with such few ships. Not with such chaos. Back on Earth, people cheered. But in deep space, Admiral Reyes stood silent, looking out the window. She knew it wasn't over. "They wanted to trap us," she said quietly. "Now they've let us loose." Cliffhanger. In the darkness beyond Mars, a new signal appeared. Unknown origin. Not Varn. Not Council. It repeated one word. Observe. One alien soldier screamed, "What kind of monsters are these?" Then silence. No one ever heard from that unit again. After Earth broke the Varn blockade, the galaxy changed. Fear spread. Not because humans were the strongest. Not because they had the best weapons. But because they fought like nothing anyone had seen before. Some species fought for glory. Some fought to protect. Some fought because they had to. But humans fought with something else. Something deeper. Something terrifying. They fought with their minds. It started small. A Fae Council patrol ship near Jupiter's orbit went silent. No distress call. No warning. Just vanished. Search teams were sent. They found the ship floating. No damage. No weapons fired. Inside, every alien soldier was unconscious, tied with their own restraints. On the wall, a message written in red paint. "Next time, knock." The council tried to hide the report, but the message spread. Then it happened again. Another ship. Same trick. And again and again. Ships went dark. Crews were found locked in their own sleeping chambers, unharmed but shaken. Each time, a new message was left behind. "We see you." Peekaboo. Still think we're primitive? The galaxy didn't understand. This wasn't just war. This was psychological warfare. Mind games. Fear tactics. And humans were very good at it. In a dark sector near the ruins of a mining station, a squad of elite Drex warriors was sent to investigate. Drex were strong, armored, and fearless, or so they believed. The station looked empty, silent. They moved in, scanning every corridor. Suddenly, Their radios crackled. A voice, distorted, human, whispered, "Welcome to the haunted house." Then lights went out. Doors slammed shut. Gas filled the air. Not poison, just something to confuse sensors. Screams echoed from empty rooms. One by one, the Drex soldiers fell. Not from bullets, from panic. They fired at shadows, at walls, at each other. Only one made it out. He was shaking, eyes wide, silent. When they asked what happened, he only whispered, They don't fight fair. They play with us. Like toys." Elsewhere, a captured alien pilot sat in an Earth prison. He was fed, unharmed, treated well, but every night he was shown videos. Not torture. Just Earth history. Old wars, riots, bombs, nukes, human chaos, human resilience. Then Earth music, laughter, art, love. The pilot broke after 5 days. "I don't understand you," he cried. "You cry over puppies and then burn cities." A human officer simply smiled. "Now you're starting to get it." On a council warship, a meeting was called. A high-ranking strategist named Lurak, who had studied over 500 species, stood before the generals. He looked tired, eyes wide, hands shaking. "We were wrong," he said. "They don't just fight with guns. They fight with stories, with fear, with the unknown." He showed footage. In one battle, humans had sent fake signals, ghost fleets that weren't real. Another time, they played old Earth music through enemy comms at full volume, war drums, screaming guitars, strange words like Ride of the Valkyries. The aliens had no idea what it meant, but it made them feel hunted. "They turn silence into a weapon," Lurak said. "They make you think they're everywhere, even when they're not." Meanwhile, humans kept moving forward. They no longer waited for war to come to them. They began targeting supply routes, disabling engines instead of destroying ships, letting the survivors spread the fear, and it worked. Entire fleets refused to patrol near human-occupied space. Some colonies begged to surrender before the humans even arrived. Alien children had new nightmares. Not of monsters, but of humans in helmets, whispering in the dark. One day, a group of peace-seeking aliens asked Earth for a meeting. They begged Earth to stop the attacks. A human general met them with a calm smile. "We only defend ourselves," he said. "You came to our skies first. You sent ships. You sent threats." One alien ambassador cried out, "But you're everywhere now. You're in our systems, our minds, even when you're not." The human nodded. "That's the point." Back at the Galactic Council, the High Speaker stood in front of the stars. He looked at a new report. Earth forces were now pushing forward, not just defending. They had started scanning routes toward Council space. That's when it hit them. "They're coming here," someone whispered. The Council, once proud and untouchable, now feared invasion from a planet they once called primitive. A planet that now walked in shadow, cliffhanger ending, in the dark halls of the human command. Ship, General Reyes looked at a star map. She pointed to one glowing blue dot, the Council's homeworld. "They watched us like animals," she said. "Now it's our turn to visit." In 1 week, they learned our technology. In 2 weeks, they improved it. In 3... they broke our code. The words echoed through the council chambers like a warning bell. No one wanted to believe it at first. Not the Varn generals, not the Drex tacticians, not the High Speaker himself, but the reports kept coming in, planet after planet, fleet after fleet, saying the same thing. Earth learns too fast. After the failed blockades and lost skirmishes, the alien empires had hoped to regroup. They thought humans would pause, rebuild, maybe hide. But humans didn't slow down. They sped up. Back on Earth, something had changed. the captured alien technology, was no longer just studied in secret labs. It was being rebuilt in open military bases. Human engineers didn't just repair the weapons from fallen enemy ships. They redesigned them. They made them stronger, simpler, meaner. An alien plasma rifle, once needing a battery the size of a backpack, was now fitted into a soldier's forearm. Alien star drives were made smaller, faster. In space, New Earth ships were no longer clunky and slow. They were sleek, black, quiet, and fast. Too fast. The Zarktil, the same empire that once invaded Earth with confidence, now couldn't track the new Earth fighters. Their scanners picked up nothing, just blurs and shadows. And then the attacks came, not large invasions, but quiet ones. Precise. A Zarktil supply base in orbit was shut down in 7 minutes. No alarms, no bodies. Only the Earth flag sprayed onto a wall with white paint. Another day, a Drex outpost exploded from the inside. A virus had been planted in their power core. The virus was based on Drex coding, but rewritten in English. On a distant moon, a nervous Drex officer whispered to her commander, "They understand us now, better than we do." The Galactic Council grew desperate. They held a private emergency session, only the oldest, most powerful species allowed. A hologram of Earth hovered above the round table. The High Speaker looked around at the fearful faces of once mighty empires. "We must offer peace," he said, "before it's too late." A quiet ambassador from the Varn stood up. "It's already too late. They don't trust us." And he was right. The Council sent messages to Earth, offers of peace, promises of no more interference, even gifts. But Earth replied with silence. No acceptance. No rejection. Just silence. Until one message came through from General Reyes herself. It was short. "We remember who fired the first shot." Some on the Council wanted to prepare for war again, but one voice cut through the noise. An alien named Selvik stepped forward. He wore no uniform, no rank. His skin was pale gray, and his eyes were tired. He had once worked for the Zarktil, a tech expert. He had studied Earth's early signals and ignored them. Now, he stood before the Council as a defector. "You laughed at them," Selvik said. "You saw their fire and thought it made them wild, but you didn't see their minds." He paused, voice shaking. "You gave them a challenge. And humans love a challenge. You gave them war. And now they're better at it than you." Meanwhile, in deep space, a strange signal was detected by multiple alien probes. At first, no one understood it. It wasn't a message. It was a pattern, a code, encrypted with alien systems, but running on human architecture. It spread like wildfire through old Council channels. It turned defenses off, crashed navigation systems, delayed ship engines by a full 90 seconds. In a battle, 90 seconds is death. One by one, the alien fleets realized their own code had been used against them. Inside an Earth warship, General Reyes stood with her top officers, watching a screen as enemy ships floated helpless. "It's not just about strength," she said. "It's about understanding how you think." Then came the reveal. Earth broadcasted it live, not just to the Council, but to the entire galaxy. A massive human warship, unlike anything ever seen, appeared on the edge of known space. Not built for battle. Built for dominance. Sleek, silent, covered in black reflective plating that absorbed radar. Its engines left no trail. Its weapons were hidden, but ready. The ship's name was simple: Judgment. It moved slowly, showing its full size. Bigger than any Council flagship, and made entirely on Earth, powered by alien cores, cooled by human engineering. Protected by new shields no scanner could read. It didn't fire. It didn't threaten. It simply appeared. And the message was clear. Earth no longer needed to catch up. Earth had already passed them. In council space, panic grew. Some species began to prepare to evacuate their homeworlds, not because humans had declared war, but because they hadn't. "They're silent again," said one Varn leader. "That's worse than shouting." Cliffhanger ending. In the dark, a single Earth probe landed on a council moon. No soldiers. No weapons. Just a beacon, blinking with a quiet, soft light, and one word slowly appearing on its side: next. One by one, the old empires crumbled. And the last words of the Vorthax king were mercy. Humans. Please. The stars were no longer safe for the powerful. In every corner of the galaxy, once great empires were falling. Fleets that had ruled for centuries were being erased in days. And at the center of it all was Earth. But humans weren't conquering planets. They weren't demanding control. They didn't need to. The fall began with the Vorthax Empire, a species with skin like steel and minds trained for war. They had crushed over 100 worlds. They believed they were untouchable, until Earth arrived. A single human fleet entered Vorthax space. Just 5 ships. The Vorthax laughed. They sent 30. Only 3 returned. One was half broken. Another carried no crew. The third brought back a message. "We warned you. Stand down." The Vorthax didn't listen. So Earth came again. This time, not to destroy, but to reveal. Hacked into the Vorthax war network and exposed everything. Secret war crimes, hidden weapons factories, a plan to poison 3 peaceful planets. Galaxy watched in shock as the truth unfolded. The Vorthax king tried to deny it, but it was too late. Rebellion started inside his own empire. Allies turned away, and on the last day of his rule, as Earth ships hovered above his palace, the mighty king knelt and whispered, "Mercy, humans. Please." Earth didn't kill him. They left him to face the justice of his own people. That was the difference. Humans didn't always show mercy, but when they did, it felt worse than death. Next came the Drex Coalition. Known for their elite assassins and stealth fleets, they tried to strike Earth's moon base. They failed. Not because Earth had better weapons, but because they had predicted every move. Earth's AIs had learned Drex patterns. In milliseconds, they blocked communications and shut down engines mid-flight. When the Drex landed, they found the base empty. Too quiet. And in the silence, a single message played on loop. "You're too late. We're already inside your command ship." It wasn't a bluff. By the time Drex generals called for retreat, Earth soldiers had already boarded their flagships and taken control. The galaxy watched as empire after empire fell, not to fire, not to bombs, but to something much more terrifying: knowledge. Earth understood them, their weaknesses, their pride, their history. Humans didn't just break bones, they broke reputations, and when the leaders of these empires begged for surrender, humans didn't gloat, they simply moved on. Soon, refugees started appearing across council space. Not humans, aliens, civilians from defeated empires, former soldiers, scientists, families. They came in ships with white flags painted by hand, and they asked Earth for something no one ever thought they would: protect us. At first, the council was confused. Why would you ask humans for protection? One ambassador asked. A refugee replied, because they fight hard, but they protect harder. In one station, a young alien girl cried in fear as she saw a human marine in armor. The soldier knelt and gently handed her a piece of chocolate. "We're not your enemy," he said. "Not if you don't try to hurt us." The girl smiled, and Somewhere in the council archives, someone wrote that down. The humans have strange rituals, but they win hearts as easily as they win wars. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, things were falling apart. The old voices, proud and loud, were now silent. Empires that had once ruled entire sectors now sat with bowed heads. Only Earth stood tall and the Council for the first time in its long history did something unthinkable. They offered Earth a seat. No, not just a seat. Leadership. Take control, said the High Speaker. Bring order to the chaos. You've earned it. The room waited. Every species held its breath, but Earth didn't answer. Not right away. Back on Earth, in a quiet mountain base, General Reyes stood at a table covered in galactic maps. Around her were leaders from every human nation, military, science, diplomacy. They had been offered the galaxy, but did they want it? We never asked for this, said one leader. We didn't start this, said another. General Reyes looked out the window. The stars were peaceful, but only because Earth had made them that way. They watched us like beasts, she said. They feared what they didn't understand. And now they want us to fix their mess. Maybe we should. Or maybe they need to learn what unity really means. Cliffhanger ending. In the shadows of deep space, a new signal pulsed through the void. It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't. From the Council. It was ancient, powerful, a language long forgotten, and it carried only one word: awakened. In the end, we didn't want to win. We just wanted to survive. But now. The galaxy belongs to us. It began with fear. It ended with silence. But in between, the galaxy watched as humans changed everything. The Council fell. The empires that once ruled the stars were now dust. And at the center of it all was Earth. Long ago, they had called Earth primitive. They said humans were emotional, unstable, violent. And maybe that was true, but they forgot something important. Humans don't give up. Not ever. They fight for their homes. They fight for their families. And when they're pushed too far, they fight for the future. Back on Earth, the leaders met one last time. The war was over. The Council had fallen. Aliens now looked to Earth for protection, guidance, and peace. But Earth had a choice to make. Would they rule with fear? Or would they lead with something more powerful? Inside a quiet command room deep under the surface, General Reyes stood before a giant screen. It showed every system in the galaxy. Each one had once belonged to a different empire. Now, every signal was silent. Every ship was waiting. There, watching us, Reyes said. The ones who attacked us. The ones who begged for peace. Even the ones who stayed silent. Behind her, scientists, generals, engineers, and world leaders stood in silence. We never asked for this war, said a diplomat. We only wanted to survive. Reyes nodded. But now we've won. And that makes us dangerous. On the same day, the Galactic Council was officially dissolved. The last surviving members stood in front of Earth's leaders. Their heads were bowed. Some were shaking. The High Speaker, once proud now, looked old and broken. He raised his hand slowly. We surrender what remains of the Council. The galaxy is yours. The room was quiet. A single human officer stepped forward. He placed Earth's new charter onto the table. But then he spoke clearly. We accept leadership, but we are not your rulers. The aliens looked up in confusion. We will not enslave. We will not punish. We will teach, protect, and rebuild. But if anyone threatens Earth again, he paused. And then added coldly, we will not show mercy next time. Across the stars, planets cheered. Others wept. And some simply watched. The sky, waiting to see what Earth would do. They didn't have to wait long. In just 6 months, Earth began rebuilding fallen worlds. Human engineers helped direct cities recover. Medical ships flew to war-torn colonies with food and care. Peace officers were trained not to control, but to protect. Earth had brought destruction. But now they were bringing hope. Still, rumors spread, not of human cruelty, but of something deeper. Fear. They smile now, said one alien captain. But never forget, they learned everything in weeks. They adapt too fast. They may bring peace, said another, but they carry war in their blood. Even Earth knew this. That's why they created the Unity Code, a law for the HFY-SCI-FY. Galaxy. It had only one rule. Peace is the duty of all. War against peace will not be forgiven, not again. And then, just as things were calming down, a signal was found, not from the Council, not from any known race. It was ancient, older than any file Earth had recovered. It came from the dark side of a dead star, and it carried just one word: awakened. Earth's top minds studied it for weeks. At last, they found the answer. It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. Something else was coming. Something older than the Council. Something that had slept for thousands of years. Now it had opened its eyes. Back in her ship, General Reyes stood in front of the stars. She had led humanity from the ashes to the throne of the stars. And now? She smiled, not with pride, but with caution. We never wanted war, she whispered, but we're ready for what comes next. She turned to her crew. Tell the fleet, stay alert. If something's waking up out there, it better know. One thing, she paused, Earth is watching. Final words of the story. The galaxy changed forever, not because Earth won, but because they refused to lose, and now every species knows the truth. You can attack humanity once, but never, ever test their kindness twice.